So a few years ago I did this project with the Hamilton Philharmonic Orchestra. The event was called Intimate and Immersive. Here is the postcard that was sent out as promotion. You'll see the bottom left, there's a little circle with an icon that says Scan Me. People wonder, what is that? Turn it over, and there's a description of the event, the time, and at the bottom, this is straight from the RT Vive website that walks them through pictorially how they should experience the AR content, and then another description at the bottom, a written description of how to do that. Get the full experience, download the RT Vive mobile app to activate the augmented reality content on the front of this postcard. Use your smartphone before the concert and during intermission to explore AR hotspots in the hallway of the concert hall. And I'll show you some of those in a few minutes. So when people got this in the mail and they downloaded the RT Vive app, this is what they would have experienced.
Hi everyone, it's Jim and you here from the HPO, and I bet you're wondering what I'm doing standing on top of this postcard, and oh my
So
God,
see,
look.
the postcard's a trigger. Postcard on its own is just this. The RT Vive app on its own is just like your phone camera, really. But this is an AR image target, and this triggers the content. And I'll show you how that happens.
It's me. This is so cool. I'm here to tell you about a concert we have on March 6th at the Studio Theatre of the 1st Ontario Concert Hall. Its theme is called Escape to Paradise, and we have some of the most stunning, beautiful music by composers of today, including a brand new piece by New Zealand composer Selena Fisher. And the music will be augmented by original experiential media art created by Tony Vieira. Please join us for an evening of sensorium activation and lose yourself in sensation, perception, and experience. We hope to see you there.
So for that, I did a green screen shoot with Gemma New, the conductor, during one of her visits to Hamilton, because she's also a conductor or guest conductor in St. Louis, New York, Los Angeles, New Zealand, kind of all over the world. So we did this green screen shoot, and I wrote a script for her, and being a conductor, she looked at it a couple of times and memorized it, even though I had cue cards for her. That's how conductors roll. And we did the shoot, and that's that. So that was a promotion for it. And now I'll show you some of the actual content and some images from the event. It was called Escape to Paradise, and it was with the Hamilton Philharmonic Orchestra. I was commissioned to initially just create some projections to accompany orchestral music, all contemporary, written in the last 10, 15 years mostly, played by a chamber orchestra in this kind of unique setting where the chamber orchestra was in the middle, the audience was surrounding them, so it was a concert in the round, quite intimate. So initially it was just video projections, but then I got carried away, as I often do, and I started thinking about the theme, Escape to Paradise. What does that mean? What is paradise? What does escaping to paradise mean? The first thought that came to mind was getting away from where you live and going somewhere exotic like Hawaii. So you're escaping to paradise. But that seemed too easy. So then I started to think about what else that means to me. And I started thinking about what paradise means. And we have imagined the imagined paradise. And it's a thing that isn't here. So there's that question about being in the moment and always wanting something that you don't have. And then I started thinking about sometimes that paradise is a memory, and we idealize something in our memories, nostalgia for an earlier time. But memory's flawed. It's inaccurate. So we're constructing the paradise to suit what we want it to be in our minds and how we want things to be remembered. So I started to think about all of that, and that went into the creation of the video works that were projected on the screen. And you'll also see a couple of the balcony on either side. I also projected on these strips on the balcony. And then I started thinking about what else can I do, and I built this 7-foot obelisk that you see in the background there. And it was, I called it a sensorium sanctum. And it was a place where people could reach in through those larger holes and touch things that they couldn't see. So they had to use memory and imagination to create a visual for the things that they were touching, because you just have to. That's just the way we work. So in doing that, they're drawing on memory in order to create a visual to connect to the tactile. And with that visual, they're remembering something, and those memories can expand into moments of experience. The circles below were peepholes where they could crouch down and look in through these holes. And for a second or two, the space that they were looking into would be illuminated just slightly and then go dark again. And in there, I had constructed little dioramas and little scenes of situations. And all of these things were related to memory, nostalgia, versions of paradise, all interconnected, connecting all the senses. And then these things that you see in the foreground, these bottles, I called olfactory vessels. And in there, I put stuff that had very distinct smells in order to try to evoke memories. Things like cotton candy, Vicks Vapor Rub, a couple of other things, and I can't remember what they were now, but they were all kind of related to the theme because inside the Sensorium Sanctum, one of the scenes was a carnival, and popcorn and carnivals go well together. Another was, a kid being sick in bed with the flu. Another was a beach scene. So here you see the Sensorium Sanctum again, and there is again. The telephone. So I had a couple of old rotary telephones that I painted in the same reddy orange look. And when people picked up the receiver and put it to their ear, they would hear a prompt to asking them questions about memory and dreams and the future, just to get them to think about what all of these things mean to them. And they're very abstract and, impressionistic, a little, just exploring the ideas of dreams and memory and paradise and escaping and what it means and why are we trying to escape and why can't we just be in the moment. On the right, you see a woman looking at a postcard from the Escape to Paradise promotional material. And in front of her is a red box. And inside that red box was another image target that when you scanned it with your phone using Artivive, you would see a dancer, Holly Buckridge again, would appear and stand up and do this expressive dance inside the box. Here's the orchestra rehearsing. And that's Gemma New down at the conductor's podium. And that's me up in my very wrinkled shirt, talking to Gemma and the audience about what they can expect. There's some projection you can see on the top left there. And projections in the center. You can see a projection there on the left on that panel just at the balcony level. And on the right, same. It's kind of dim because of the way it's shot right here. And then there you see Holly Buckridge for the closing of the whole concert. And the last piece, I had her come out. So she appeared in a lot of the visual material that we were seeing, the AR material, as well as the video material projected on the screen and on surfaces. And so to the audience, she's unreal. She's inside the screen, and we're here in front of the screen. We're in different worlds. I wanted those worlds to collide, and I wanted the hybridity to happen. So at the end of the concert, in the last 3 minutes or so, she appears out of nowhere and begins dancing expressively, weaving her way in and out of the audience to really end things with oh, now the worlds collide. So everything that we saw is now right here in front of us. And what does that mean? And there is the sensorium activation zone, you can see. So this was another thing that I set up and created an AR selfie wall. Audience members, before the concert, during intermission, and after, in the lobby, we set up velvet ropes and a red carpet and the whole thing to kind of make it kind of flashy, and some lights. So audience members, one would go stand in front of this area, and this area was essentially the image target. The Escape poster, banner on the left, the artwork on the wall, the actual color of the wall behind, were all part of the image target. So one audience member would stand there, and their friend or a docent who worked for the HPO would stand behind the velvet rope, hold the person's phone who was standing in front of the image target, launch Artivive, and look at them and hit record, because on Artivive, you can actually record the experience that you're seeing, the AR experience, record it, and then they could share it to social media. And this is a really short version, I didn't get the whole thing, of what someone could have experienced. So Holly appears in a ghostly way on both sides, and there are waterfalls and some snow falling. So this was all video that I shot. Now here's another thing. I created a thing I called it a Virtua window. So I built this window that was like, I don't know, 6 feet high. The window was inside this frame, and inside the frame, what you couldn't see was that it was actually a flat screen TV that was inside. And when people looked through the window, they saw the thing that was on the other side of the window, which was this doorway. But when they peered around the doorway, or around the window to look at the doorway, it was just a closed door with an exit sign. But when they looked at it through the window, other things were happening, like this. And then people would see this and then poke their head around to see what's going on here, and realize that they're looking at the same thing, but it's another thing happening in this place. So there's that sense of hybridity that happens. That's a little unsettling, a little cool. And I always like to explore that kind of thing. So this was all video that I shot in different places, never knowing when I'm going to use it. I have hundreds and hundreds of video clips and photos and audio bits that inevitably will find their way into a project of one kind or another. Hint, hint, shoot stuff, document things. You never